Hello. Okay, so another session with my Moleskine sketchbook. Okay, quick look at what I have here. My Muji pen, my Pilot pen, and just bear in mind these are just regular biros. These you can get, I mean the Muji pen you can get at any Muji shop, and these ones you can buy on Amazon, and they're for writing on notebooks. They're not for drawing, so yeah. And then just my regular sort of mechanical pencil with the thick nibs, actual leads, yeah. And then I have a few things here, but I'm not going to use them now, so I'm going to put that aside. And let's start sketching. The one thing I want to sort of put across in these videos I'm making for people who like to draw and sketch and things like that is that you shouldn't be precious with your drawings. A sketchbook is a place to make mistakes, and I think that's the one thing that I'd like to show people, that is something that you should pay attention to, because I've seen people who buy expensive sketchbooks and then they're too afraid to draw on them, and it sort of makes you wonder, well, what's the point of it really? It's the same as buying really expensive paper and just never using it. The whole point of a sketchbook is that you get to practice, and if you're too scared to practice, then well, what's the point? So I can't stress enough, go out, sketch things, use your sketchbook, make mistakes, and learn from them. I guess sketchbooks can be a nice metaphor for life, really. Just go out there and live a bit. If you're always trying to achieve for like the perfect drawing, especially in your sketchbook, it's never going to happen. I mean, it could happen, but you know, it's a lot of stress to be under, and I don't think you will learn much anyway. So yes, just try and make mistakes, try and experiment new things within your sketchbook. If things go wrong, you just go to the next page. It doesn't matter. You don't have to show it to anyone. That's how I usually approach it myself, and I think it works. Another thing I wanted to talk about was materials and tools and pens and things like this. I remember I used to email my favorite artists quite often, including James Jean and Ashley Wood, asking them about the brushes and the pens that they use. And I think this is very common among art students and people who are into drawing, in a sort of weird hope that if you use the same materials, you can achieve the same style and the same things. And you know, this is not the case. I mean, it's good to know what people are using, just to try out, see if that's a tool that works for you. But overall, you know, the skill and the style of a person is a very personal thing. And what you need to be looking for is the right materials for you specifically, and not to achieve a certain style from someone else. Now, as far as style is concerned, it's one of those things where everyone wants to have their own style. They want to have a recognizable style, and lots of people will work towards it. My advice on that is, the harder you push for a style, the harder it is to achieve it. And I only say that from personal experience, and it may be different with different people, but in my case, I spend a lot of time trying to create that style. I can tell you, at least a year trying to achieve a specific style that people will recognize when they see it, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's Scrum. And that year was a bit of a waste, in my opinion. I could have spent that year just working on my anatomy, or working on my lines, and really and truly I was just sort of looking at people's styles, getting a bit upset and depressed over them, and trying to do the same. And it doesn't work really. I think the one day when I decided, okay, this is too much, I can't do this, I'm just gonna draw and try and enjoy it again. When that happened and I forgot about it, that's when I think my style started to come through a bit, and that was quite pleasant. And that happened without me looking for it. And if anyone asks me about it, that's what I'll say to them. Don't push it. Just just enjoy it, and it will happen eventually. If you draw enough, your hand will fall into a style, and you can't help it. That will happen. Okay, let's write something random here. Let's draw some Warhammer stuff, because I've been reading into Warhammer bits recently. I'm reading a book called The Night Lords, and it's bloody cool. Everything I wanted from Space Marines is in that book. The book I read before that one is called, I think, Brothers of the Snake, and it was very, very good. I mean, as far as just Space Marine and Warhammer lore is concerned. Whenever I read one of those books, just sort of, I can't wait to go back to my desk and draw lots of Space Marines and draw cool stuff. Yeah, it's nice to find things that inspire you to go and sketch and draw and create. Like, let's say, for example, in Warhammer, when I read about it, they have all these chapters, which is basically like squads and platoons and stuff like that, and they all have their own banners and things like that. And I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. And whenever I read about it, I just can't wait to go into my sketchbook and draw my own chapters and design my own logos for my own sort of squads. So yeah, it's quite exciting when you find something like that. So whenever I get stuck, I just go and read a few pages, and that really sort of gets me back in track. So that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Same with films. There are certain films that you watch and make you feel like drawing. One of the films that I watch a lot, like a lot, someone will tell you a lot, is Starship Troopers. I watched that film, and it's something about it, and you know, it can get quite silly, but it's something about the film that sparks something inside me, like a childlike sort of sense of adventure and coolness that whenever I watch it, I just feel like drawing again. And I remember when I was 12 and I watched that film, and I was so excited about it, and all I wanted to do was draw sort of space soldiers shooting at bugs. And that, in a way, that sort of comes back to you. It's a bit like music, isn't it? Like, if you're listening to a certain album in a certain period of your life, whenever you listen back to it, it sort of takes you back. And that's what films do for me sometimes. Films and books and you know, anything. If it helps you stay motivated, and if it helps you stay inspired, why not, right? So yeah, I really encourage that kind of thing. As you can see, I'm just sort of, the way I approach things like this, I just go around in sort of working out the layout first. I don't get into the details. I just go, okay, there's going to be a tube here, and there's machinery here, and don't define it. And once I know what's happening, then I just kind of work on the details. That's the way I found that works for me. So there you go. And this filling I do with the pencil, with a soft pencil. It's kind of a lazy way to create shade, but it really works for me, and I find it to be quite pleasant. Okay. So yeah, in case you're wondering, I haven't designed my own emblem for my chapter of Warhammer. I still need to do that, but I hardly ever get the time. I'm working on a comic book right now, and it's taking most of my time. On a few commissions of character design. Basically, yeah, need to get finished before I start playing with Space Marines and creating my own things. Right, okay. Oh yeah, I can put a hand here. Okay. Some massive gauntlets. Yeah. If you live in the UK, I'll be at a few Comic Cons this year, and you can come and meet me and say hello and look at my sketchbooks. One of them will be MCM London, which happens at the Excel place, which is massive. It's in South East London, and I think it's one of the biggest Comic Cons that happens in the UK, really. there's a lot of cosplay and stuff like that, but there's a section called the comic village, and that's where I'll be. And you know, if you got the time and the cash to pay for the ticket, come around, say hello, have a look at my work. Yeah. The other place I'll be at will be the Bristol Comics and Science Festival, I think it's called. And this year will be the first time I'll be there. So it's kind of exciting. And if you live in Bristol or you're nearby, it'll be cool to see you there. That's in October as well. And then there's my favorite Comic Con in the UK, which is Thought Bubble. Thought Bubble happens once a year, and it's in Leeds, up in northern England. And that's a great Comic Con. I think this year Mike Mignola will be there, which is a big deal to me. I love Mignola's work, and I follow his work, and I've studied his work, and it will be quite intense to meet him. So yeah, I think of all the people that I've followed their work, Mike Mignola is up there with Taiyo Matsumoto and maybe Ashley Wood and James Jean. These guys are amazing. So yeah, and my work has been heavily influenced by their stuff. So it's always quite intense to meet them. I met James Jean once, and I didn't say much. I just I went silent. I was too excited. I was starstruck by it. There you go. So actually, this guy looks a bit like the bad guy from Turbo Kid. Okay. Let's shall we do this? Yeah, why not? Let's add. See, what I like about these Space Marines in Warhammer is they usually carry very analog things like books and banners and stuff like that. So let's do one of those, and we'll add some of those metallic corners that all books have. Yeah. And I'm still not quite sure what these books have, really. They describe them in the book sometimes, but I haven't come across a book yet that describes in detail what these scrolls and things say. Okay. I mean, as you can tell how sort of relaxed I am now working on my sketchbook, and how this is quite a very indulgent thing. You can just sit here, chill out, talk about things that are going through your mind, and just sort of get on with the thing. Then I post them online, and that's that. It's sort of the relaxing bit of my day. So look at that. Okay. I usually have music or like Netflix or something. I can't do it while I'm filming because the last video I did, I think I had some music in the background. I don't really know how YouTube works in the sense that they instantly detect what stuff you had playing in the background, and I had a copyright claim, meaning that my video was blocked in a couple of countries, I think Germany and Russia or something like that. So I don't want that to happen this time. I want everyone to be able to see this video. So yeah, how is that? So usually I just sort of try to work out the space, and many of you know I like to overlap my drawings, and it's a bit of a test to myself not to get pressed